This Saturday night on Main Event, a clash between two of the more fascinating young boxers in Australia, the Butch and Nikita Tszyu and Dynamite Darkon Dryden, in a big fight between two undefeated boxers. And they've both joined me to have a conversation before they do battle in the ring on Super Saturday. Darkon, we've been waiting for Nikita for a little while now. Did you think he was going to be a no-show here today?
Nah, I know he'd be here. It's all good.
Where have you been?
It was the haircut. I had to get it done. There was a little wait for it, but yeah, it was a real chaotic morning for me.
How's the preparation been for you this time around? Because we saw you most recently when you went the distance for the first time against Ben Horn. What have you changed?
It's been a more intelligent preparation this time around. The last time around, there was... I'm still learning a lot about the sport, learning a lot about my body, and my approach to the, even just the weight cut for the last one was very stupid. And this time around, I've fixed a new diet to my system, and I've just, felt really good.
You've been a professional for longer than Nikita, but there's been a lot of focus on what he's done so far in his professional career. What have you made of what you've seen?
No, he's good. He's got the best team around him, obviously, and they'll guide him the way he wants to do. What is that? Guide him the way they're supposed to go. He's got a lot of experience in their back pocket.
So you've been impressed with the way that he's boxed in his fights?
Yeah, no, he's done well. He's come through adversity and come out the other side, but it's a different story when I'm in the ring.
And why is that?
Because I'm a bigger puncher, I'm stronger, and I'm going to come forward.
Have you seen Darkon fight before?
Yeah, I saw the YouTube video that's on your accounts. It was 3-4 years ago. I've seen the highlights of your most recent fights. He's a brawler. He's got hard punches. He swings a lot. He comes in to knock you out, and that's what I have to exploit.
Did you see weaknesses in what you saw? You're talking about the Jason Medawar fight that he had, where he did get a stoppage in Newcastle. What were the weaknesses that you saw?
Just more openings. There's a little bit of wildness to him, and it could mean they get caught off guard at times.
Do you think there's wildness in what you do? You've got stoppages in all of your fights so far, but is that wild?
The last fight was because I walked into that fight injured as I got 5 weeks prep. I think I had 13 kilos to get off, and ended up having a fractured rib, and I busted my left metacarpal in my hand. So if you would go back and watch all the Charlestown Square, the promos, the public workouts and that, I only did right hand punches and that. That's why the whole game plan was in there was go knock him out. It was just go shoot out.
So do you think...
I'm a lot more calculated. I can box better than what that was. I don't even watch that highlight back. I hate that fight. Even though I won, I hate it. So
you think maybe the Tszyu camp have seen a weakened version of you because they've chosen you out of that fight?
That's a 5-week prep off a 3-year layoff and riddled with injuries walking to that ring. That's what that was.
It's interesting to hear that. There was a lot wrong.
Well, yeah, I'm prepared for it. I'm prepared for a challenge. I'm expecting any kind of version of Darkon. I'm expecting someone that's going to try and box me, someone that's going to put the pressure on me, someone that's going to kind of wait it out and then be explosive in different things. I've gone through so many scenarios in my head of how he could kind of approach the fight against me by just studying myself and looking for my own weaknesses and seeing how his style could kind of try and exploit myself.
Since Nikita turned pro, there's been a lot of talk about his punching power. Who do you think's the bigger puncher in this fight?
I don't think it matters. I think it's playing like the man who lands. It's just going to be the person who finds their shots, to be honest. We both obviously punch hard. He's split them open, I've dropped them. It's whoever's smarter on the night, to be honest. So
you think that you're both going to be throwing your bigger shots early in this fight? Is that the sort of fight we should expect?
If he thinks I've got openings and he's got openings, I think it's going to go early then.
What do you think?
I'm honestly going to say it's going to go the whole 6 rounds. I'm not going to... It's not going to be a fight from my point of view.
So the thing was, for Orthodox in the Southpaw, it's either going to be a war or it's going to be a chess match. And I'm a lot smarter than my last few fights. Or the last one anyway, that they keep watching.
Yeah, and I feel the exact same. With my first 3 fights, I was very much always going forward. I was always looking for the knockout. I was trying to force it in, especially in the Ben Horn fight. I was really forcing that, trying to get that one punch clean shot to stop it. But that's not how I usually fight. When I'm doing my sparring sessions, I'm very calculated with how I approach it, and I'm very deliberate with every single punch I throw. So those 3 fights I've had in the public eye, they're kind of completely different to how I usually fight. And it's all about kind of, for me right now, is getting comfortable to the point where I can fight in the way I usually fight.
And obviously you think that you can outbox Darkon Dryden.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe I have a skill set to do that.
You happy to box with him?
100%. I haven't even had to show my boxing ability yet. But the opponents that put in front of me, I've just mowed through. So if he's going to bring out boxing ability, then it's going to be fantastic for me.
It'll be a good display of who's the better thinker on the night. who's got the IQ.
100%.
He's a different sort of a guy, isn't he? Yeah.
He's a different dude.
What do you think about him?
I don't know. He's just different dude. I don't know. I don't really got a word for it.
Yeah, I got a few screws unturned in my head.
What do you think about all the butcher stuff and what he says in the ring after fights about liking the blood, liking that combativeness, the contest?
Yeah, that's how I see fights when I fight. That's what I want to see at the end, either them on the floor or them pissing out blood. That's how I fight.
Yeah, it's satisfying, isn't it? Like the sign, like the first sign of blood, like that, just that color, kind of like sparks something in your head, doesn't it? It sparks this kind of like awakening.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What do you think about what he's saying here?
I don't even got a word for it at the moment.
You're usually wearing your Hannibal Lecter mask. You haven't brought it today, but it seems fitting in a conversation like this.
Yeah, I forgot it sitting on the table at home. I was rushed. This is the last minute thing. I got rushed here. There's a few things I forgot too. I got to find out how to make food and everything too on the way up here.
Forgot how to make food?
I got to find out what to make my meals now to make weight.
Nikita can help you with that because he's got a very new diet.
Yeah, you should try some liver, some raw liver.
What's the benefits of that? You got to cook your food or you get worms.
It's dense with nutrients and vitamins and really high in iron. It's just a powerhouse of nutrients.
Could you bring some to perhaps the weigh-in for Darkon?
Look, I honestly have them all fresh, and I wouldn't want to give anything to him. It says it's all for me.
Okay, what about the bull's testicles? Did that happen this time around?
No. I don't know where that came out from, but that's for the next preparation.
Right.
Though I saw some article that I've already had them or something, but no, it's
Well, you'd know.
I'm going through this journey where I'm trying to try a different organ of the cow, of the beef, for every single preparation.
Are you on that same journey?
I cook my food, brother.
Do you have sashimi?
I don't even know what that is. What's that?
Sashimi?
Yeah, what's that?
Raw fish.
No.
Come on, man. Sashimi. With a little bit of soy sauce and lemon juice.
I cook my food, eh?
Missing out. Got to come down to Sydney more often, go to the fish markets.
Well, you're about to head up to Newcastle, which is Darkon's hometown.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have a big crowd there, a lot of friends and family and his fans as well.
Glad.
How's that going to be for you?
I'm glad. I hope that there's kind of back and forth. I hope that people support him just as much as they support me. I'm not the biggest fan of just a one-sided crowd. There's something beautiful in the fact that the crowd goes for the person who's kind of winning and who's bringing the most excitement. And I feel the Newcastle people are those type of people. They're there for the fight. They're there for the excitement. And winner or loser, they're cheering on for the beauty of the sport.
Feels perfect for you that this fight's ended up in Newcastle, your hometown. What sort of an advantage does that give you, do you think?
Well, it's good that it's close home, but it's perfect. I've got all my supporters there, and yeah, I've always said I want to bring the big fights to Newcastle. It doesn't get much bigger in this division. Apparently, no one's even taken the fight against you, and I'm jumping straight into it, 100%.
Have you been offended in recent years that it's been called Newcastle for Nikita and his brother?
Oh, not really
What's there to
offended.
be offended about, though? It's not really my fault or my brother's fault.
But it's just puts more pressure on him, because if I beat him here, what do you do when you come here next time?
Yeah.
Do you feel that pressure?
Well, there's always pressure. There's pressure with every single fight. But this pressure, it's necessary. it's necessary to bring focus into yourself. Because if you don't have that pressure, if you feel too easy going into something like this, then you can take things lightly and take things for granted. So this pressure, it's essential.
Did you watch Nikita's fight with Ben Horn?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Yep.
What did you expect before that fight was going to happen?
Oh, pretty much what everyone else thought. They're just going to knock him out in 2 rounds.
And then what did you see?
I've seen a lot of the holes I've seen in the first 2 fights. Because they mentioned this fight to me before Ben Horn, and then they must have found Ben Horn after it. And then he started finding him with the same shots. So I'm just thinking they're still sitting there. And I'll show you on the night where they were.
Which shots are they?
Shots that you'll see.
Come on.
I genuinely think I'm going to catch it with them
Give
too.
me a taste.
Do you want to give him any hints?
No, you feel them.
Left or right?
I punch both. You'll see.
Okay.
He hit you with both hands.
Yeah, I know.
Do you think that was a deficiency in what Nikita has, or do you think it was pressure or something about the journey that he's on?
I wouldn't say it's pressure because Ben Horn ran to the ropes for the whole 6 rounds. He just walked to him. He just followed him to every section of the ring. And he still found the shots. So we'll see what it does on fight night.
What do you think about the response that Darkon and others have had to your performance against Ben Horn?
Look, I didn't even hold too much against it because I know that that's not the type of fighter that I am. So I don't necessarily even need to watch over the fights to kind of assess my judgment on it myself, because I remember the feelings, the emotions going through my head, the mistakes that I was making, and I was conscious of the mistakes that I was making, but my body just wasn't kind of in sync with my mind. So that was a night that I wasn't nowhere near close to what I possibly usually fight at or what I feel comfortable at.
Were you looking past that opponent to some extent as well?
No, I always knew Ben Horn would be very tough. He's like a country boy. He's just like Darkon. They're tough blokes. They're not going to go down without a fight, and they pose a very deep threat to you because they do have a chin on them. They can take a shot, and they're swinging till the end.
I'm sure you pictured what happens on Saturday night at the end of this fight. What have you seen when you've looked ahead?
My hand gets raised. I think it's, I just can't see it going any other way, to be honest. I just see the shots and I see myself finding them.
And what will that mean to you to win against a star on the rise in Nikita Tszyu, but also live on TV around the country, on Main Event, and at home in Newcastle?
Well, I've done my job. I've got everyone watching. Every time I go online, it's my name. It's us two. So I've done my job, and this is just the cream on the top of the cake, to be honest. And just top it all off now.
And what have you seen when you've looked at this fight?
Just another stepping stone, another lesson, a new experience, a new style to adapt to, a new challenge.
And not so much the butcher this time, but more the boxer.
Yeah. Well, you're the one that brought the butcher name. I was never too happy with it, but it kind of just stuck. So
You're the one eating the raw liver.
yeah, but butchers don't really eat their meat raw. Or maybe some do. Some do.
I'm not sure. We'd have to ask them. But
Yeah, it depends on the
regardless,
Yeah.
we've got a fascinating fight here. Just finally, I want to get your predictions and maybe just a word to each other. Do you have a prediction for me and then a word to Darkon?
Yeah, well, as I was saying earlier, I think that we're going to go the full 6 rounds. It's not going to be a firefight if you believe that, and just bring your A game.
And for you, a prediction and then some words to Nikita?
I don't think it's going to be a firefight, but I think I'm genuinely going to stop you late and bring your best. Come get it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, the stage is set for a fascinating fight between these two undefeated young Australian boxers. We'll see you on Saturday night. I'm Ben Damon. I'll see you at the fights.